Welcome to this week's edition of the Dakota Angler 2-Minute Fishing Report. Well, the past 7 days we've seen both extremes temperature-wise. We've had the extreme cold of last week and now the above normal temperatures of this week. And these warmer temperatures are definitely going to help the bite, to say the least. The weather's more stable and the pressure falling, and so the bite should be on. And I think we're starting to see some reports of that, especially earlier in the week on Monday and Tuesday. But you know, this past week the bite was a little bit slower, tough, and the pressure was a little bit higher. You had to really downsize and a lot more finesse fishing, to say the least, but plenty of people caught fish. And by the way, with the warmer weather, we're not seeing much in the deterioration of the ice conditions. We got some good quality ice out there. If anything, maybe by the end of this week we may see a little bit of melting along the shores because of the brown ground. But as far as the integrity is concerned, I don't think we need to worry about that quite yet. As far as the fishing report is concerned, up in the northeastern part of the state, the two lakes that has been consistent all year long, all season long, has been the main story again this week. But Waubay and Bitter are the two main lakes that a lot of people are going to, whether or not it's fishing for walleyes or perch. But the walleye bite has been most consistent on Bitter, but you have to sort quite a bit. But again, maybe every 5 to 10 smaller walleyes, you get that nice keeper or even a trophy, to say the least. Other lakes up in the northeastern part of the state included Dry Lake by Clark, Goose, Drywood, Minnewasta, a few being caught there, as well as Midland, North Rush, and then also Indian Springs. Down the southeastern part of the state, the bite has been a little bit more inconsistent than up in the northeast, but the lakes that produced walleyes this past week included a few being caught at 81 Ponds, Dry Lake by Willow Lake, Thompson, Henry, Ponset, Henry WPA, Madison, Whitewood, a few being caught at Wall Lake, but they've been small, and you got to sort quite a bit, and then also North Island and Twin. And remember, Twin is the trophy lake. The main thing that you need to keep in mind, though, folks, is that you need to avoid the heaves out there. There's been a few people going down through the ice, and it's been mainly going out at night and falling through the heaves. So the things that you need to keep in mind is avoid the heaves and go out during the day. Now, the lures that people have been using, sorry to go off camera here, but the lures that people have been using to catch the walleye, one of them has been the Tikka minnow. And very similar to many other lures that you have, but very unique color patterns. That's been a great way to bring in fish, and tip that with the minnow head has been working really well. And then also something new this year has been the custom Jigs and Spins Pookie. You might recognize this one from years past, but this is also tungsten. And what makes this unique, there's not too many vertical hanging tungsten jigs. And so it's great underneath a tip-up, or if you've got a minnow head or a larger minnow, put that on there, and this works really well, especially in that deeper water. So two lures that we haven't talked about, but also work quite well, to say the least. Now, as far as the perch bite is concerned, the lakes that produced the perch included Waubay, Big Stone, Dry Lake by Clark, as well as Willow Lake, Bitter, Christopherson Slough, Clear, Ponset, and then a few being caught at Thompson, 81 Ponds, and then also Sinai Eye. Now, again, I'm going to go off camera to grab these, but the lures that produced some of them this past week, again, in the deeper water up in Waubay, you need to use tungsten. Small tungsten jigs work really well, or even this one that we've talked about before from Widowmaker. It's the Slab Seeker spoon. This spoon is made of tungsten and has been working really, really well in that deeper water. Again, smaller tungsten lure, the drop kick tungsten jig from Clam. It comes in a number of different colors and sizes, so again, works really well in that deeper water. Now, maybe not in so much deeper water, but again, more of a vertical profile, the Pinhead Pro. And this is some of the more popular ones has been the PT model or the painted treble model. It comes in a number of different colors and sizes. That has been working really well, not only this past week, but throughout the past couple of weeks. So again, those three lures and many others, but the main thing is to use those tungsten jigs and then also tip it with a waxworm, a maggot, or a minnow head. And some of you may have heard that there is a waxworm shortage across the upper Midwest. We do have waxworms coming in, and they should be available to us later this week. In this week's edition of Todd's Tackle Tips, we're going to talk about something we haven't talked about yet this year, a little bit later than normal, but we're going to talk about the different style of rods. And really, the nice thing about our store is we just don't carry one type of rod or one company. We carry a whole line of different types of rods. If you're looking for an inexpensive rod for kids, or if you're just starting out in ice fishing, that's the way you're going to want to go. But we have the whole gamut, including some high-end custom rods, and that's what we're going to kind of talk about that right now with 3 different companies, because really the rod that you choose is going to be dependent on the type of fishing that you do. In other words, you're not going to want to use an ultralight rod if you're, jigging with heavy spoons, and that's what I want to show you right now. This is a company that we just started carrying their rods this year. Very, very popular to say the least. They've been at the Ice Institute the past 3 years. This is out of Mags, out of Michigan. This is their custom power noodle rod. Very, very popular reel rod to say the least. By the unique color that comes in, also it comes in orange and black, but also again unique handle. But you can see the action that we have right here. You can see the finesse tip, but look at the backbone. So again, this is the type of rod that you're going to want to use when you're out there finesse fishing. Using lighter jigs, you're not going to want to use a big heavier spoon or let's say a rip and wrap or anything like that when you're using this type of rod. But when you get into that bigger fish, you have the backbone to land it without any problem whatsoever. The other rod, now the extreme, is that when you're out there and you're wanting to use those larger rip and wraps or larger jigging spoons, this is the Rip and Eye rod, and hopefully you can see that a little bit better from Elliott. We're a proud dealer of Elliott as well as S2B, 2B rods, I should say, 2B rods. This is, again, a stiffer tip. You can see that. Plenty of backbone, but again, you're going to want this type of rod when you're out there really ripping those larger types of baits, such as the rip and wrap or anything like that. So again, something to keep in mind. Also, we have rods that you can use up in Canada too, that Elliott makes that are ideal for sitting outside and jigging those larger baits. Now, a rod company that we've carried for a number of years, they've been at the show as well, JT Outdoors, a very popular rod to say the least, rod company I should say, and they have a number of different rods and we carry a lot of them. This one here, this is the panfish snare rod. And the nice thing about this is you can see, again, look at that ultralight tip, sensitive tip, but also then look at the backbone. What makes this rod so unique is that you can put it in a rod holder and it will actually, you can watch that fish just pull down that rod and it will actually set itself. All you have to do is lift it and it will set the hook. So very unique type of rod. So again, the type of rod that you're going to want to use is dependent on the type of fishing that you're going to do and what type of lure you're going to use. The nice thing about these JT rods, they're also on sale right now. So if you're looking for a new custom rod, stop on by and take a look at these JT rods. But in any three of these rod companies or anything else that we carry, stop on by, take a look at the great selection, and then also ask us to help you. That if you really don't know what rod you should use, what type of action, what type of length, let us know, because you're not going to want to use a long rod in a house, let's say a permanent house or inside your shelter. More of a longer rod is meant for outdoors, so to speak, again. So keep that in mind, and don't be afraid to ask us the questions, because that's what we're here for at Dakota Angler. And now it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And remember, folks, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report, all you have to do is send it to me, and you can do that by sending it to todd@dakotaangler.com. And before we end this week's report, I want to remind you of some fantastic deals we have on shacks. It's not too late to buy a shack. We have some fantastic ice, so why not enjoy that in a brand new ice shack? So whether or not you're looking for a hub or a flip over shack, we have it here. Whether or not you're looking for an otter, clam, Eskimo, still we have it. So again, check out our website at dakotaangler.com for those prices, or stop by here at the store and check out what we have. But some fantastic deals now on some otter cabins, as well as the clam legend and clam Kenai shacks at this point in time. So again, stop by the store or check us out on the website. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report. For Dakota Angler, I'm the owner, Todd Heitkamp, and as we say around here, fish on! We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, and always stay healthy and stay safe.